So Fiona, you're stepping out from the chorus where you've been since 2002, so that's 23 years.
It is.
And you're finally doing your first leading lady role.
Yeah, I am singing Tosca, sharing the role with you, which is absolutely a privilege. Loved this role since I was a teenager. Never thought I'd get the opportunity to do it, but I have, and it's just been fantastic. It's been quite a trying year for the chorus, as we know. So it was just an amazing sort of boost after a really trying year. But I mean, I couldn't believe it actually.
Like, how did it feel in the rehearsal process? Like going in the first day, having to sing it, presumably, like, you know, in front of colleagues. Like, I always find that really nerve-wracking.
I completely agree. So the first day we had a music rehearsal, and what didn't help was that I'd been ill, I'd had a cold, so I was under the weather. You feel judged, and more
so than usual.
A bit nerve-wracking, but also really exciting.
I remember doing my first Tosca in 2018. I remember feeling similar to you, that, you know, it was a really daunting prospect. But the minute you set foot on the set, I feel like she really comes alive. Did that really help you?
Yeah, yes, definitely. I agree. Being there from the start, getting the motivation for all the movements and the reason, and learning about the relationship between Mario and Tosca at the beginning, and the way they've interpreted the relationship between Scarpia.
Sometimes it's like you really hate him. Like, you can't, he makes your skin crawl. And then other times it's like they push it so close to the bones that there's actually something about Scarpia. He's the sexiest bit of Tosca, I think. Scarpia. So go on then, which act is your favourite to sing?
Act 2, obviously.
Hands down.
Obviously. But it was also probably the act I was most worried about.
Me too. Even after, like, you know, countless performances of it, every time I go into Act 2, I'm like, right, okay. But then as soon as I get on the stage, something sort of inside me clicks, and I just sort of tune into it and go with it.
Because it's so wonderfully written.
I just have to say well done to you for just getting up there and getting on with it. Like, it's quite physical for poor Tosca in this.
We were saying, weren't we?
She's on the floor quite a lot.
She's thrown down a fair bit.
Yeah, I've got
thrown off some
bruises
tables.
all over my knees. I've actually got one here as well.
How do you find the killing compared to your other productions?
Lots and lots of blood.
I was going to say, so we've got these beautiful handmade dresses that have been made for
stunning,
us, and I found that as soon as I'd stabbed him or sliced him with my knife, I had blood on my hands, and I spent the rest of the scene on the bed thinking, I've got blood on my hands and I can't
my dress.
Get the dress.
Yeah, and so I'm always a little bit like, and it's so sticky, isn't it? And it smells like, because it's sugar, it smells. So yeah, I always a little bit like, gutted if I get blood all over my hands. But it looks really good. I have to be careful to remember where to stab Scarpia, because I've done it in so many different variations and so many, like, how many are we in this production? 3, 2? Like, and where are they?
You have another production on the go as we speak, so you have 2 Toscas in your head.
Yeah, don't ask me what the other ones are. I'll have to have a look at the video. And I tell you what else is a bit of a business is the jump. Now, I've never done a free fall jump backwards.
No, not at all.
And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it when I first got here.
I agree.
But like, we were coached like so well, weren't we?
Yeah, we had fight directors who really took us through it properly, didn't they?
Yeah, and they're used to doing stunts and stuff. So what you'll see as an audience member is like a big round circle, and you'll see it backlit, and you'll just see us with our arms out, flat back.
That's right.
And we'll drop into sort of like a foamed ball pit.
Yes, a skip full of
like square foam cubes. Yeah. Which is actually quite comfy. When I get there, I'm like, and my heart's beating, the adrenaline's like, you know, off the scale. We
have to climb up a ladder, don't we? You know, adrenaline's pumping, heart's
really
beating,
fast,
turn around, sing, go. So the first time, obviously, was just have a climb up, have a look. I looked down and I thought, there's just no way. I just think it is.
And you're
quite
taller
a long
than
way.
me, so you like. What I found was like the eye level to the floor was the thing that was really putting me off.
It does look like it's a long way away. So Maisie, the fight director, she started me on the edge of the skip. We just, I don't know if it's the same for you. We just started and we just rolled in.
Yes.
But the difference of climbing up to the platform is huge.
Huge, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. I think I just shut my eyes and just thought, I've got to do it.
Yeah, I've got to go. I kind of bounced a little bit as I hit the foam, and honestly, the eye line of the people at the top circle, they could literally just about see if you sort of do a little...
So we need to keep quite still.
Yeah.